Guinea Fowl and Rabbit Get Justice. African Folktale. Somewhere between the Kong Mountains and the sea, in the country called the Gold Coast, the bird named Guinea Fowl had his farm. It was a good farm. Guinea Fowl worked hard on it and grew fine yams and bananas. He grew beans and okra, millet and tobacco. His farm always looked green and prosperous. Mostly it was because Guinea Fowl was a hard worker. Not very far away, Rabbit had a farm. It wasn't a very good farm because Rabbit never worked too hard. He planted at planting time, but he never hoed his crops or pulled out the weeds that grew there. So when harvest time came along, there wasn't very much okra or beans or millet. One day, Rabbit was out walking and he saw Guinea Fowl's farm. It looked so much better than his own that he wished he owned it. He thought it over. He became indignant. Why is it that it rains over here on Guinea Fowl's land and not on mine, so that his crops grow and mine don't? He asked himself. It's not fair. He thought all day, and a wonderful idea came to him. That night, he brought out his wife and his children and marched them to Guinea Fowl's farm. Then he marched them back again. He did it again. All night, his family went back and forth from their house to Guinea Fowl's farm until by morning, they had made a trail. In the morning, they started pulling up Guinea Fowl's vegetables and putting them in baskets. When Guinea Fowl came to work, he saw Rabbit there with his family, pulling up all the fine crops he had planted. "What are you doing with my yams and okra?" Guinea Fowl said. "And what are you doing on my farm anyway?" "Your farm?" Rabbit said. "There must be some mistake. It's my farm." "I guess there is a mistake. It's my farm. I planted it, and I weeded it, and I hoed it," Guinea Fowl said. "So I don't see how it can be your farm." "How could you plant it, and weed it, and hoe it, when I planted it, and weeded it, and hoed it?" Rabbit said. Guinea Fowl was very angry. "You'd better get off my place," he said. "You'd better get off my place," Rabbit said. "It's absurd," Guinea Fowl said. "It certainly is," Rabbit said. "When any old guinea fowl can come and claim someone else's property." "It's mine," Guinea Fowl said. "It's mine," Rabbit said. "Well, I'll take the case to the chief," Guinea Fowl said. "It's a good idea," Rabbit said. So the two of them picked up their hoes and went to the village to the house of the chief. "This fellow is pulling up my vegetables," Guinea Fowl said, "and he won't get off my farm." "He's trying to take advantage of me," Rabbit said. "I work and work to grow fine yams, and then he comes along and wants to own them." They argued and argued while the headman listened. Finally, they went out together to look the situation over. "Where is the trail from your house?" the headman asked Rabbit. "There," Rabbit said. and pointed out the one he had just made. "And where is the trail from your house?" the headman asked Guinea Fowl. "Trail? I never had a trail," Guinea Fowl said. "Whenever anyone has a farm, he has a trail to it from his house," the headman said. "But whenever I come to work my farm, I fly," Guinea Fowl said. The headman thought. He shook his head. "If a person has a farm, he has to have a trail to it," he said after a while. "So the land must belong to Rabbit." He went away. Rabbit and his family began to pull up more yams. Guinea Fowl went home feeling very angry. When Rabbit had a large basket full of vegetables, he started off to market with them. But the basket was very heavy. He wasn't used to heavy work because he was lazy. After he had carried his load a little distance along the road, he put it down to rest. And while he sat by the roadside, Guinea Fowl came along. "Ah, friend Rabbit, your load is very heavy," Guinea Fowl said sweetly. "Perhaps I can give you a lift with it." Rabbit was touched. Guinea Fowl wasn't angry anymore. He was very friendly. "Thank you," he said. "You are a real friend to help me with my vegetables." So Guinea Fowl put the load on his head. He smiled at Rabbit. Then he flapped his wings and went off with the load, not to the market, but to his own house. Rabbit shouted. He ran after Guinea Fowl, but he couldn't catch him. Guinea Fowl soared over the fields and was gone. Rabbit was angry. He went back to the village to find the headman. "Guinea Fowl has robbed me," he shouted. "He flew away with my basket of vegetables." The headman sent for Guinea Fowl. "They were my vegetables I took," Guinea Fowl said. "They were mine," Rabbit shouted. "I harvested them with my own hands." They argued and argued. The headman thought and thought. "Well," he said at last, "when people carry things a great deal on their heads, after a while the hair gets thin from so much carrying." The people of the village said yes, that always happened. "Let me see the top of your head," the headman said to Rabbit. Rabbit showed him. The headman clicked his tongue. "No," he said to Rabbit. "Your hair is thick and long." He turned to Guinea Fowl. "Let me see yours," he said, and Guinea Fowl showed him. Guinea Fowl's head didn't have even a fuzzy feather on it. "It must belong to you," the headman said. "You are absolutely bald." "But Guinea Fowl never had any feathers on his head," Rabbit complained. "He was always bald." "When you carry things on your head, the hair becomes thin," the headman said. "So the basket belongs to Guinea Fowl." They went away. Rabbit prepared another basket of vegetables to take to market, and when he set it down by the side of the road to rest, Guinea Fowl swooped down and took it away. Rabbit prepared another basket, and the same thing happened. It was no use going to the headman anymore, because Guinea Fowl's head was so bald. At last, Rabbit got tired of pulling up Guinea Fowl's vegetables for him, and he went back to his own farm to work for himself. That is why people sometimes say the shortest path often goes nowhere.